As soon as Alexander put Ophelia to bed, he didn't undress her, just lay her and covered her with the duvet. He picked her phone from her handbag. He scrolled through the messages that came. He took the phone number and typed it on his own phone. He sent it to someone. The person sent a message back with the name of the person that owned the number. Alexander knew it was one of his sister's friends, and he understood what Vicky was up to. He was able to piece the puzzle together once he was told that Vicky visited Carlos and they had a private talk with no witnesses. Then suddenly, his wife receives a text message. He knew it was all linked to Vicky, but what exactly the details were of Vicky's plans he didn't know. So he decided to leave it at that and kept watching. He showered and went to bed. The next morning he had woken up early, before Ophelia. "Cordelia," he called out as soon as he got to the living area. "Yes, sir," she said as she came running in. "Get me some black coffee, no sugar, no cream," he ordered. "Okay, sir," she responded and went to do his bidding. He stood and waited for her to bring it to him. In a few minutes she did, and he took it upstairs with him. He knew it would help with the hangover Ophelia would experience. He placed the coffee by her bedside cabinet. He watched her for a while and left the room. She stirred and was fully woken by the aroma of the coffee. She tried to lift her head. It was aching badly. She took the coffee, quickly drank it, and lay back in bed. Meanwhile, Alex was getting ready for the office. He knew she wouldn't be able to go to the office that day, and he had already called her guards that they should be in their positions whether she's there or not. They shouldn't allow anyone into her office. Even her immediate staff should not be allowed in, was the instruction he left. Bank, Bully, and Ben. So when he finished dressing and came into the room, he found his wife was already awake. He looked at her and he could sense fear in Ophelia, so his eyes softened to her because he could never get himself to be angry with Ophelia. He just couldn't. "You must have had some fun yesterday, sweetheart," Alex said by way of greeting. "I'm sorry, Alexander. I know I shouldn't have. I didn't have any reason to get high yesterday, but I did, and I'm sorry. Please forgive me," Ophelia pleaded. "It's okay," Alexander said, "but don't ever do that again," he emphasized. "I won't do it again. Thank you for forgiving me, Alexander," she said with a little joy in her words. "Who was the lady with you yesterday?" he asked. But Ophelia could not remember. She looked around, her eyes darting here and there, trying to recall. "Janet was with me," Ophelia said finally. "Yes, there was a third lady. Someone else was with you yesterday," he insisted. "Oh, okay. How did you know?" Ophelia asked curiously. "Don't worry about how I knew. How did you meet?" Alexander queried. "It was Janet who found her. I think they met when I went to the ladies and she said she got a friend and I asked her to join us. We were at the table together." "Did you notice if she put anything in your drink or made any funny moves?" Her husband prodded further. Ophelia became suspicious. "No, I don't think so," she answered. "Well, she's one of Vicky's friends, so be careful," Alexander warned. "Oh, all right. Thank you," his wife said with gratitude. "I'll be going to the office. I know you can't go anywhere. You just stay in. Your guards are already in position. They know what they are supposed to do. I have instructed them, so you stay at home and get yourself back. Tomorrow is another day. You go to work then," Alexander said. "Thank you so much, Alexander. Thank you for taking care of me. Were you the one who brought me to bed? I noticed I didn't change." "Yes. If you had found yourself in your nightdress, you would have thought something else about me, wouldn't you?" Alexander asked, smiling. "Yes, that is true. Thank you. Thank you for being the gentleman you are." "Thank you," Ophelia said. "Okay, so let me go to work. I'll see you soon. I will close on time so that I can come home and keep you company." "All right, take care of yourself. I love you, Ophelia." "Thank you, Alexander." Ophelia couldn't get herself to say she loved her husband. It just didn't come easy to her. Alexander didn't mind at all. He knew she would come around eventually. As soon as he said his "I love you," he left. Shortly after, Cordelia came in. "Auntie, where did you go yesterday? You need to have seen how Boss carried you." "I think I will marry again." Cordelia started early in the morning. Though the hangover was reducing gradually, she could not help laughing at Cordelia's comments. "No, I went out with my sister Janet, so we met a girl there and we took some drinks." "Some drinks? What you took was not some drinks. You couldn't walk. You were out. Auntie Boss carried you like you would carry a baby. That was how he carried you upstairs." "Cordelia, thank you, I know," Ophelia said, feigning laughter and trying to kill the embarrassment. "So, Auntie, you are not going to work today?" Cordelia asked. "No, I'm not going. Let me get myself back. I still have a hangover, Cordelia." "All right, Auntie. So what would you like to take since you have a hangover? Can I bring you some chicken soup?" "Okay, that would be nice. Thank you, Cordelia. Yes, get me some chicken soup," Ophelia said, and Cordelia left immediately to prepare chicken soup for her madam for the hangover. So Ophelia got up and went slowly into the bathroom to carry out her morning routine. She got dressed in casual wear and came back to lay on the bed. As she lay there, she turned on the TV and tuned to a movie channel. She told herself that she would enjoy her day. She was going to watch from one movie to the other. She checked the menu, looked for all the movies that starred Johnny Depp, and found 3 of them. She wished all the movies they had there starred Johnny Depp so she could have made it a Johnny Depp day, but she was grateful she had 3 to watch that day. So she began to watch the first one, Pirates of the Caribbean, and that was the series she started. She was engrossed in the series. Her phone rang and rang. It took a long time before it stopped ringing. Then it started ringing again. She quickly picked it up. "Yes, hello? Where were you?" Alexander's voice came through. "I was watching a movie. I'm sorry, I was carried away by the movie," she stammered. "Okay, don't tell me Johnny Depp was starring in that movie," he asked, knowing the answer. "Yes, how did you know?" she asked incredulously. "Ophelia, that is the only person that can take your mind off of me. We need to deal with that issue. You're making me extremely jealous, and I don't like it when I'm jealous, so we have to deal with that issue." Alexander's voice became so intense that she had to clear her throat to call back her thoughts. "So, why did you call, Alexander?" "Just checking up on you. How are you? Have you seen Cordelia?" Alexander inquired. "Yes, she has gone to make me some chicken soup." "Okay, good. All right, just checking up on you. I'll call you again." "All right," Ophelia said and ended the call. Then she continued her movie. Not long after, Cordelia came with her chicken soup and she was sipping slowly. "Cordelia, sit with me and watch this movie," she asked Cordelia. "No, Auntie, I have so much to do in the kitchen. I have to prepare for lunch. Since you are at home, Boss will want to come for lunch, so let me go and prepare it." "Okay, you go on," Ophelia said, and Cordelia left. She was there, and while she was watching Pirates of the Caribbean, it dawned on her that she didn't know anything about her husband's castle. Though she was a bit afraid that she might get lost in the maze, she knew that Cordelia knew she was at home, and so if Cordelia did not see her, she would come looking for her. After she was done with the chicken soup, she turned off the TV and left the room. She turned right, went down the corridor, saw some doors on her left, opened one of the doors and tried others. There were a couple of them that were locked. She opened one of the doors and found only furnishings there, so she went around and went through the maze again. She kept going, turning at corridors, checking the rooms. Beautiful, already furnished rooms were there. She wondered how many people would come to visit him and for how long this furniture had been there. She made a mental note that when Alexander came back home, she would tell him that they couldn't just keep furniture like that without airing it out. All she knew was that Adrian worked as the butler, and she knew of the maids in the kitchen, but she did not know any other workers who would do the cleaning or the airing of those rooms. She took the elevator to the top floor. She went in and out of corridors until she got to a room. She noticed that the room's door was unusually clean, as if it was just painted. She tried the handle on the door, and it opened. As she walked into the room, what she saw took her breath away. It was a room filled with her pictures of her at different ages, so neatly lined on the walls like an art gallery of only Ophelia. She wondered why Alexander would do this. When he said he knew her well, he wasn't lying or guessing, because these pictures were taken at different ages, and she could remember every single one of them, and when she took them. She quickly locked the door and came out. As she tried to find her way back to the elevator, she missed her way. She didn't know what to do. She walked around the maze of the top floor until she eventually stumbled upon the staircase and ended up on the floor of the kitchen. She didn't know it was the kitchen at first. She just heard voices. She walked along the corridor toward the voices. Madam doesn't know anything about what is going on. If she knew, she would be afraid. Nobody would dare inform her. Nobody must let her know, one voice said. But what if she finds out? The second voice said. How will she find out? If nobody tells her, she will not find out. She's always in her room, another voice said. She backed away from those voices, her heart pounding. She quickly walked back down the corridor the way she came. She could smell the aroma of food cooking, so she allowed her nose to lead her to the kitchen. Eventually, she got to the kitchen and found Cordelia with some other maids. There were about 6 or 7 maids there. Cordelia, she called. Oh, Auntie, you came down. How are you feeling now? She asked, wiping her hands on a napkin. I'm much better. I'm fine, actually, Ophelia said. Okay, so what do you want to do? Should we go into the garden? Would you want to go there today, Auntie? Yes, Cordelia. Thank you so much. You remembered my garden, right? Let's go. And you said that you wanted to tell your husband to do something for you, Cordelia said, reminding her madam. Please remind me today once you see him come up. Okay, Auntie. Cordelia came out of the kitchen after she had left instructions for the other maids. She walked with Ophelia through the garden, making their way through the maze until they got down. The flowers were in full bloom. The fragrance in the air was beautiful. She looked and smelled the flowers and said, I need a gazebo. Suddenly, a clearing of the throat was heard behind them.